When you hear PTSD, you might think of a soldier who's just returned home from war. Less commonly associated with PTSD?
A little kid. Yes, kids with PTSD is a thing, and we really aren't talking enough about it. So, here are 5 things you never knew about PTSD in children.
Number 1, PTSD can be triggered by pretty much anything. Anything.
From witnessing a school shooting to being in a car accident or even seeing a family member be deported. A wide range of traumatic events can cause PTSD.
And any sight, sound, or smell that brings up memories of that traumatic incident can trigger PTSD. Someone who was assaulted might be triggered by touch. Someone who survived a fire might be triggered by smoke from a barbecue.
In our show, Party of 5, the parents are taken away by ice, which triggers a panic attack for my character, Valentina, during an ice raid scare a few weeks later.
What's going on?
Ice is down the block. We got a tip.
Take deep breaths, okay? Hey, it's gonna be okay, Val.
Studies show that up to 40% of children will experience at least one traumatic event in their life.
Most are able to recover, but those who struggle to cope are diagnosed with PTSD.
Number 2, young girls are more likely to develop PTSD.
Up to 15% of girls develop PTSD versus just 6% of boys.
Girls are more likely to experience trauma from sexual assault, neglect, and abuse. They have a higher risk of developing PTSD.
PTSD also manifests differently in girls. As a result of hormonal changes during puberty and life circumstances,
Girls are twice as likely as boys to develop depression by mid-adolescence.
Number 3, PTSD looks different in kids than it does in adults.
Everyone expresses PTSD differently. Some may experience nightmares and flashbacks,
While others recreate their experiences through Legos.
while adults and children with PTSD have overlapping symptoms. Children face the additional challenge of struggling to communicate with their emotions.
I know, I just need a minute.
Some children dealing with PTSD may experience regressive behaviors like forgetting their potty training, which is a sign of distress.
A kid with PTSD might have trouble paying attention in school.
That's why PTSD can often be misdiagnosed as ADHD. In Party of 5, Val lives with heightened anxiety after her parents were ripped from her.
In the last episode, we saw the effects of that anxiety. She can't sleep, and even when she does, she wakes up in the middle of the night in panic sweats and can only be comforted when she's in her sibling's bed.
Val, she has nightmares. She wants to talk, so we talk. And then she falls back to sleep and I can't.
Number 4, PTSD doesn't have to be a life sentence.
Despite how serious PTSD in children is, it does not have to define who they are and how they live the rest of their lives.
PTSD is treatable. Play therapy, which is an effective treatment designed specifically for kids,
Teaches children how to communicate and work through their problems using toys, games, and art.
whether drawing someone scary or using dolls to build a family.
Children's play habits can show adults sources of the problem.
And cognitive behavioral therapy works to replace negative feelings associated with a traumatic event with positive ones.
Finally, number 5.
Remember, it's not the kid's fault.
Kids with PTSD need professional help, but they also need support at home. Kids should be encouraged to speak openly about it when they're ready.
They should be reassured that what happened was not their fault and never be judged for their behavior. It can help create a sense of normalcy by going back to old schedules and healthy habits.
With support from loved ones, children will have a stronger chance of moving on and living a healthy life.
Did you know kids could have PTSD? Let us know in the comments.
Share this video to educate others about PTSD in children.